You can see very heavy rain bands down south. And I tell you what, there's going to be a flooding issue here. We have a flood warning. Parts of Hardee, parts of DeSoto County, 8 to 9 inches of rainfall has fallen in this area. And there's breaks back up upstream, but there's still some heavy rainfall that's going to fall through the area. And as you work your way back to the north and the west, there are more breaks, and these thin out. And that is the trend throughout the rest of the afternoon. So you can see it all kind of moving very quickly off towards the east. But look at this area right here. My finger is still seeing rain, still seeing rain. This is a 1 hour loop. And it just has been raining almost the whole time. And now it's raining really hard. So we're talking just west of Wauchula there. So Wauchula getting very heavy rainfall. Now you get up towards South Tampa here. Look at McDill. McDill had a very heavy thunderstorm right there. Got another little line right there. AMI, here comes another shower, moving right into the mouth of the bay. And then up into northern Pinellas County now. You can see that in Pasco. Trinity area, pretty heavy rainfall. A little thunderstorm coming through there as well too. This still has quite a bit of wind in it. The wind is coming down. If you notice most of our live shots, in between rain bands, the wind is coming down. And it's slowly coming down, and that's the problem with the surge. It's coming down, the tide's coming up. So it's kind of fighting each other. It's going to offset each other there. This line here especially, really all of them, but especially this one, we still have to watch for a spin up. And the tornado watch is up north of here. But we're watching all of these because just it's kind of the nature of the storms here. This line here was very similar to the one that produced a tornado, or at least a tornado warning near Zephyr Hills earlier. I haven't seen anything spinning in there just yet, so that's good news. Now the big picture showing rainfall rates, highest right here along the coast. You see the purples, but this is what I was talking about, areas that train, right? We were saying that's going to happen. Some areas are going to get it. That's really hard to forecast, but clearly, look at these reds here. That's a lot of rainfall. In fact, 5.9 inches. That little spot right there is close to 8 inches of rainfall, almost 9 inches. And so that will cause lots of flooding. And then here's the other side of this. This water that you see here, especially in this area, has to drain off into the river. So they're going to be getting higher and higher over the next couple of days. Rainfall running off on rivers takes days for that to crest, and then a couple more days for it to come back down. 2.5 inches over in central Pinellas County, 4 inches in Sarasota, 4.5 up in central Pasco. That's up towards Wesley Chapel and Lutz area. There's a live look at Mahaffey Theater from Mahaffey Theater. Look at that seawall right there. Not working too well, but we've got still water coming over here. This may have come up a touch over the last couple of hours, but I've been looking at all I'll say river gauges, but all the buoy levels that have the water levels, so it's a predicted tide and what the tide is actually now. Most of them have done something like they've kind of come up and then come down just a little bit, right? But at the same time, the wind's blowing, the wind's coming down, the tide's coming back up, and that's causing things to be offset a little bit. This is the Hillsborough River. This has come down. This was almost up to the trees. You couldn't see the curb here. Now you can. And if you notice here, look at the piling. You see the water's kind of coming on that side of the piling. It's like an inverted V if you like do kayaking and stuff like that. You look for that. That's showing me that the river, the Hillsborough River, is very slowly pushing to the south. But the tide's actually coming back. So the water, the rainwater has gotten in the rivers trying to go out. The tide's pushing back, so it's not really going anywhere. And that's going to be the case through, it looks like now, about 2 o'clock, because high tide's right around 2 o'clock. I've been watching this here. You see where the line is here, where the traffic light is. The water has been right about there. It may have receded a foot, if that. And I mean a foot back, not a foot down. It hasn't receded much at all. Bayshore's still underwater. We still have, well, there's police presence going over to Davis Islands right there. Another one there. This has not gotten too much higher here. The helicopter pad at TGH, you see the front side of TGH looks okay. But this is just not going anywhere. Now, look up here. I don't know if you remember earlier, we had a lot of white tops, choppy water, right? White caps is what I'm trying to say. But we don't have as much now. We don't have as much wind. But the tide's coming up again. So you would think when the wind dies down, this water would go back out, but it can't because the moon's pulling it all back in. This is the station here where we work. So this is Feather Sound area. It was right on Gandy Boulevard is where this is, but this marsh goes all the way up to the Feather Sound. That water should not be there, okay? But this is actually coming down just a touch, and I mean just a touch. So it's not really moving either. But it should be coming up. If everything was equal, it would just come up because the tide's coming up. But at the same time, the wind's coming down. So again, it's kind of offsetting each other. We're going to play this game through, it looks like, again, 1:30, 2 o'clock. And then things will really come down. Look at the winds. 18-mile-per-hour winds at the beach. St. Pete, about the same. 15. Davis Island's 21. Clearwater Beach. 30-mile-per-hour gusts still, but even those are coming down. It's blowing at 13 miles per hour in Zephyr Hills. Now, when the rain bands come through, yeah, we will get higher winds. We just saw a wind at 32 miles per hour in Venice. Here are our gusts so far. 67 there. Sarasota, we at one point did see a 70. 58 in St. Pete, 58 in Tampa was the gusts. And we see some 30s inland locations. But yeah, obviously higher gusts along the immediate coast. There's the storm now, 105 mile per hour winds falling apart slowly. That is amazing. That's over land. That's doing a lot of damage. We're not going to see as much trees down, power lines down because of the wind. That's not our storm. Our storm is the water, and that's what we've been forecasting. Their storm is the wind, and then this area is the water. But now it's moving over inland locations with very high winds, and that's going to be the big power outage. That's going to be where you see a lot of the trees down. Now, let's look at the forecast for winds. So I showed you, not a lot of wind, right around 20, 21, 22, right? It goes back up. High tide is here. So it's going up with the high tide, and that's why we think it could go up a little bit more before it comes down. Finally, this afternoon, 3 o'clock, the wind's coming down. It'll still be breezy. The tide's coming down, and the wind continues to come down. The tide continues to go out. And so that's why you heard the mayor of St. Pete say, hey, look, let's hold tight about 2 o'clock this afternoon, and then things will start to get better, and they'll slowly get better after 2 o'clock. This is the wind profile for Tampa. It's a little less wind, not by much, but it's all out of the southwest, and that's pushing water up on top of us. But after 1 o'clock, it too starts to slowly come down. So, the storms that already made landfall, it's pretty far away. You feel like, okay, let's go, let's start to get back to normal. Water level wise, it's going to take a little while this afternoon. Here's the forecast for winds. You can see they are forecasted to basically, there's a little dip that we're talking coming back up. The GFS doesn't see much of it, and the Euro doesn't either. Our local model is the one that says, yeah, they'll come back up. This is 10:30 this morning. Let's get out to where we are now. There you go. So 2:30, here we go. 20s and low 30s, and then teens and 20s by the time we get towards this evening, and things will be quieting down. So storm surge, these numbers turned out to be very, very accurate, I think. 4 to 6 in the Bay Area. Most of what I've seen is about 3 to 5. And then 7 to 11 up in Hernando and especially Citrus County. Citrus has been at 8, but then just watching Jennifer Titus's live shot, I think that water came up while she was standing there, which is indicating that it's more. Now, they haven't seen everything that they're going to see. If you remember early this morning, we saw quite a bit of surge and wind down south, and then it was our turn in the Bay Area. Now it's their turn because, number one, they're just closer to the high winds, but number two, the storm winds are actually spreading out because when the storm moves on shore, it begins to weaken a little bit, and those winds spread out, and so it just, in this case, just maintains a really high wind there, and the tide, right? Tide's coming up there as well too. So, yeah, that was a wild storm there. This is the look at the tides here. You can see this evening comes finally back down at around 7:30. Yeah, it's going to take a little while for all that. So, guys, the forecast surge I think turned out pretty well. Most areas along at least US 19, say from Pasco County south, we're fine. We get some spots that we're kind of getting close up into Hernando County. Give it to this evening, take some time, then slowly we can start our cleanup. And keep in mind, down power lines, water, don't go together, right? Treat them as hot. If you do run into that, treat them as if they're live wires. You don't want to go anywhere near them. Keep an eye on your neighbors. Watch out for all kinds of animals. And I know my wife's not going to like this one, but you get a lot of rain like this, snakes come out, ants come out. We were talking about red ants already. You're going to see a lot of that next couple days.
All right, yeah, we got to count our blessings with this storm, Bobby. We really could have seen so much worse damage in the area. We're grateful that this is what we saw as the storm moved west, really sending prayers up north into Tallahassee as well this morning.